super proud of our team effort today. We've just been completely locked in from start to finish with playoffs this year. This senior group, they set a goal early, really started last December, and they've just carried us through each and every game, from the back to the front. I mean, team-wise, like defensively, we've given up one goal in all the playoffs. And so credit to our keeper, our back line, and then, but what we reminded them at the start of playoffs was we have 11 defenders on the field and 11 attackers, and that was a big part of that, only conceding one goal so far. But going into this game, we felt confident to be ourselves, and we felt if we just played a full game the way that we've been playing, that things could go our way, and that's kind of how things ended up. There was phases of the game. Sometimes they were on top, sometimes we were on top, and it was kind of shifting back and forth. And lucky for us, we made the most of our big opportunity there to put the ball in the net on the pen. But we dug deep there at the end to make sure that the ball stayed out of our net and that we could get it done.
And Coach, the 05 was the only appearance previously for this program. Is there any connections with this team, with that team? Is it like anybody in the community or any kids related to anybody? Or
So the coach of that team was Coach Frank Rablick back in 05. The schools had just split recently where I graduated in 04 and played under Coach Rablick. And then the school split, First Flight opened up. Yeah. And so that group went down from 3A to 1A and went to the state finals, and I think they lost 1-0. So Coach Rablick was in attendance tonight supporting the program as he always is. We had a lot of players celebrating after the game. I saw several of them in the stands, congratulating the boys here for getting that done. So yeah, it's fantastic to see them still supporting after all these years, and certainly they did me proud today.
Yeah, start with you, Coach, and go through all three guys. Defense, like you said, 4 straight shutouts, 19-1 scoring differential in the playoffs. What was it like to see defense wins championships really come to life here this run?
It's awesome. I'm a defensive guy, so a lot of the backline stuff, we've been, and really with our backline, we've been working this group since last year. And last year we were young, we took our knocks, we lost quite a bit of games, and I think we conceded 50-some goals last year. But we were learning. We were in this group. They just kept asking questions in practice. What do I do in this situation? We just kept drilling, and then this year they took all the mistakes they made last year and just applied them to do better. And then it just really all cemented in playoffs with the focus and effort from everybody to really just put a wall up back there and say no one's getting by. And that's. Greystone, especially at the end, they started getting some looks and sending balls into the box. But for a lot of the playoff games, people were really just struggling to even get shots on us. They could not break through our back line. So credit to Eric and the other guys on the back line there. It was awesome.
Yeah. Start with you, Eric. What was that like for your defense to do that?
The back line has been a huge part of our journey throughout playoffs. Just conceding one game throughout the whole playoff season. I mean, we took a lot of shots last season with the freshmen coming in and not knowing their own position just yet, and they were just they had a lot to learn. And when we split during practices with Coach Cleaver, he taught us the simple moves or the simple 2-touch turns or just the mistakes that we made in game to go out this year and improve and actually work as a team and keep our composure, because last year we struggled with those things. So
yeah. Eli, Scott, same for y'all. Like the coach said, there's 11 defenders out there.
Yeah.
What was that like for this defense? I mean, even whatever your role was helping on the defense, what was that like to sort of see another shutout?
I would say as a midfielder, being able to rely on this defense, game in, game out, every game of the playoffs, when I make a mistake or anyone in the front makes a mistake, being able to rely on the defense and they're able to cover for me, it's like a different experience. I would say we worked hard for this. It's been a long season, and we earned it.
Yeah.
And I'll just first I want to say congrats to everybody's talking, communicating, and just being loud and helping new freshmen and new sophomores that come in, just directing them the right way, just letting them know what's wrong and what's right.
So, Eli, we'll talk about the PK. Are you the guy that goes when there's a PK out there? Is that sort of how it goes all year?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what's that like? That's a pretty pressure-packed role.
You know, I've had a few this season. We had a Cobia Cup game where I had to step up and I converted that. I think it's just going the same routine I've done every time in practice. You know, all those countless hours spent, like taking pens, just shooting at the net, and just doing that, being able to execute. I think that's a big part of it.
Coach, what was that like to sort of see Eli get his moment out there?
Scott was, or Eli was asking me if I was confident in him, and like I told Scott to back me up, before he took the pen, I looked at Scott and said, when we go up, right, be smart here, there's 10 minutes left. I had all the confidence in Eli. He's been our guy on that spot all year. He puts him in. And he's just kind of calm and cool and collected like that. That's how he plays the game. He's one of those players that, like, when he's on the ball, the game's slowing down, and that's how he can see passes and find people that others can't, because he's just calm on the ball and cool under pressure. So I was confident in him. I knew he'd get it done for us.
Coach, what does this full circle kind of experience mean in terms of you've been there with this program as a student athlete, so in proximity in terms of understanding what these kids are going through, because you've been there, and we were just talking about out in the hall, the idea, I think we have an addition to a Christmas parade in terms of a group that's going to be in that parade, but just that whole full circle dynamic. You've done what they've done. You've seen it come full circle as a coach. You know what it means to the community. For all of that to come together, what's going through your mind in this moment?
It's surreal. It is really such a special moment for these kids and for our community. On my end as a coach, like as a player who played at Gainer High School, like I lived for playoffs and I wanted to win a state title so bad. I think the best we did was 4th round in my senior year with 3A. And so, but when I reset, come back as a coach, like that was always my goal, was to make sure we got one, because I never did as a player. And one of the things I think held us back then was where some of us really wanted it. It wasn't a collective unity and where everybody wanted it so bad. So I really try to express to these guys, like everybody on the bench, on the starting lineup, like everybody has to want it. Everybody has to put in every single day. And that's the only way to get it done. And so it's really surreal to kind of have that moment finally after all these years. And I know it means a lot to our community back home, and I know they're ready to celebrate with us when we get back.
Coach, your keeper is a sophomore, correct?
Yes, sir.
You very rarely do you see a freshman or sophomore for the state championship MVP. That's what he did today. So what can you say about his effort, and how impressed were you with how he carried himself today at such a big stage?
Yeah, Haziel was fantastic today. He was clean in what he needed to do. He had, especially at the end, he had a lot of balls coming into his box, a lot of bodies in and around him, and he was just cool and calm and clean with what he had to do. He had a big save in the first half, again, where he caught the deep shot clean under pressure. The guy was crashing in. If he coughs that up, the guy taps it in, and that's a game changer. But Haziel's grown all year. I mean, he's only been in the position for a couple of years, so like his growth is fantastic. He had some big games early in the year with us, and as a young keeper, he's made some mistakes. And that's standard practice when you're young and you're learning the position. And I told him, I said after this game, like, you had those big moments early in the year. We had kind of like an off period where he wasn't locked in, but I just kept waiting for that moment for him where he was going to step up and just be the man back there. And he was tonight. He was dialed in. Everything was clean. And to have another shutout, especially against a team like Greystone, I mean, that's a quality team, and they were putting us under pressure, so it's fantastic for Haziel tonight.
Is he one of those players that you looked at even before today, and you think with how far he still has, I guess 2 more years, like the sky's the limit for that kid?
Oh, absolutely. There's, where he's at right now is fantastic, but there's so many ways for him to keep improving. From his IQ, from his technique, command of the box and everything like that. And that's for all the players. Like, obviously we're a great team, but and that's our motto, is like, get better every day. You know, we're going to celebrate this, but a couple weeks from now in December, we'll be in the gym playing futsal. We'll be out on the training field. We'll go right back at it because we're not satisfied.
It's impossible to get to this point pretty much without guys making sacrifices. What are maybe a few things you can think of with your players? It doesn't even have to be this year, maybe in past years where they've made sacrifices for the greater group that has propelled you to this stage.
Yeah, we ask a lot of time from them out of the season. Every Saturday in the winter, like I said, we're in the gym playing futsal. In the summertime, you know, we ask them to attend camps and go to ID camps in the winter to go out and see, you know, better players across the state and get out of our little bubble on the Outer Banks. They're willing to work and put in the time and effort. I know that takes away from other things they might rather be doing as normal high school kids. But the sacrifice is there, and what I would say about this group is, like, this group especially just loves to play the game. Like, you can't stop them from going out and playing. They're going to play whether I'm out there or not. They're going to organize themselves and play in different ways. So y'all might want to add to any sacrifices you feel you made.
I would say like showing up every day, Sunday during the summer. You know, it's like 90 degrees, 6 a.m. Like a whole team's out there. Everyone's coming together. I mean, we got like one coach showing up like every day. I mean, that takes a whole team, and I think that really shows how committed we were to winning this championship.
For any of the players, other than obviously your champions, you guys your names in history forever, what kind of qualities do you want the future Manteo teams and all teams in the area to remember you guys to be the best at?
I'll say one thing is like never giving up and always having faith. I think that's it.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. I mean, it's just never giving up.
I would say how we grew up together. Like this team wasn't just like we met in high school and we started playing. It was just like we grew up younger days, elementary, middle school. Like we grew up playing with the same team throughout the years, and that chemistry just grew into like a huge team that's like amazing to watch them play. Looking back at film, it's an amazing like how much we grew just from just little games that we played out. Even when we weren't supposed to be out on that field, we were just out there just kicking the ball, just enjoying our time. And I'm forever grateful for those teammates that I have.
Coach, how rewarding is it for you to see the stuff that Eric just mentioned pay off in the league, and to see a group that grew up together, not just came from different places? How rewarding is it for you to see that group to success now?
Yeah, I mean, it means everything to me. That's what it's all about, is for these kids to have that experience, and to have that experience as just a group of best friends who just love to play. I mean, those are the things that keep me coming back. Like this group, I mean, they've been a pleasure to coach. Like they just keep working and learning. Even last year, like I said, we had like a 500 season last year. We were like 12, and 3, and we got our butts beat a couple times. But every day of practice, it was like every practice was great. They were back working, they were grinding, they never had their heads down. Like they just, you could see them building to something like this, right? There's no guarantee of it, but like they just kept believing that they were getting better and that we could be here and we could be state champs.
All right, guys. Well, congratulations. You can go celebrate.
Thank you.